Now, we've taken a look at the global markets, but back home on the Lal Street, markets ended at the day's low on Thursday. And now Nigel is going to take us through all of the global cues that we should watch out for in today's trading session.
Well, first, let's go through what happened in the US markets. The Dow ended with a gain of close to around 100 points. Good listings out there. We heard our colleague at CNBC tell us that, in fact, Pinterest listed at, with a gain of around 25 points or 25% odd. So interest was there. Things look good out there. The Dow ended with a gain of around 100 points. US economic data as well is looking very good. The retail sales numbers that came out of there, that jumped up by around 1.5%. That's the strongest gain we've seen since September 2017. The street, in fact, was bracing for a number of around 0.5% to around 0.6%. The dollar index, now I'll look at that very closely, and we look at the Indian rupee as well, because overnight it went all the way to around 97.5 odd. So keep an eye out on the rupee because of the kind of strength we've seen on the dollar index. But the big factor, I think, now will be crude oil prices. It's getting uncomfortable out there. You have sanctions that are coming out of the United States, imposing sanctions on Venezuela as well as Iran. Not very favorable news flow early this morning as well. And at $73 per barrel, that's not looking very, very good. But coming back to our markets, well, though that's about the global cues. The Nifty snapped its 4-day winning streak. It ended, in fact, after hitting record levels, it ended in the red. But if we look at the FIs, they're bullish both in the cash as well as in the F&O market. In the cash market, they continue pumping in the money. More than 1,000 crores is what they pumped in. The DIs, they're offsetting some of that good work because they sold close to around 300 crores. Net, the FIs, they were net buyers to the tune of around 1,000 crores odd. And in fact, if you're looking at it on a net basis, institutions bought close to around 700 crores. DIs and FIs both accounted out there. In the F&O market, they're adding longs big time. 15,000 long contracts is what they added. To put a data point out, 17 long contracts for every one short contract. So they're going the full hog. Massive long positions being created out there. And in terms of the positioning, they're net long on the index as well. What are they doing in terms of options? Well, they're buying some puts, so they've got some protection on the downside, and also they're writing puts. So they're buying cushion, but they're also writing puts telling you they don't expect to see big downside. Well, today it's going to be very, very important because 20% of the Nifty will be reacting to earnings. Two big heavyweights, HDFC Bank and Reliance Industries. If you're looking at the stocks, HDFC Bank ended in the red. Reliance Industries ended with a gain of around 3%. We'll keep an eye out on both those two stocks because each of them have more than 10% weightage on the index. So big earnings reaction is what we're going to be getting out there. In terms of levels, well, the Nifty, the key resistance level should come in at around 11,850 odd. That's where we hit the fresh all-time high. So that becomes a resistance level. The bears, they'll be hoping, let's try to defend that mark. But the bulls on the downside, 11,550, 11,600. Repeatedly, we have been seeing money comes in there. So that should be a bit of a support where the bulls look to buy.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot for that, Nigel. Also, take us through the specific stocks that you'll be watching out for today.
As I said, Reliance Industries and HDFC Bank, we'll keep an eye out on both those two stocks. Reliance Industries, if you pull up the intraday chart, the stock ended with a gain of around 3% approximately. Now, the numbers were a bit disappointing. There was some weakness seen both in petchem as well as in the refining business. UBS says, the transfer of debt of more than 1 lakh crore to InvIT, that's a positive because that's talking about a bit of deleveraging. They reiterate a buy rating with a target price of around 1,500 rupees. Maybe we could see some profit booking just to kickstart trade given that the stock ended higher. But HDFC Bank, that's a solid performer. Reminds me of Rahul Dravid back in the days. Super performance coming in there. Net profit, NII looked very, very good. Beat street estimates. And importantly, the loan growth came in at around 25%. That's the best we have seen in last 5 quarters. And loan growth is coming not at the expense of, margins. So NIMs as well were at 7-quarter highs. These numbers look good. Asset quality as well, a bit of an improvement. Anyways, it's not a bit of a worry. So HDFC Bank expected to open up in the green, and that's what's going to fight for the bulls today. Besides both these two numbers, we'll keep an eye out on some numbers that we're looking at today as well. No big Nifty stock comes out with its set of numbers, but you have, maybe an AU Finance that comes out with a set of numbers, Goa Carbon as well as Mahindra Lifespace. So we'll keep an eye out on those stocks. Shifting focus away from numbers, GVK, they've signed a term sheet with Abu Dhabi Investment as well as NIIF for 49% stake sale in their airport division. That's one of their subsidiaries, so keep an eye out on that stock. It'll help their deleveraging plan. Shilpa Medicare, well, they have got the US FDA approval for Busul fan. That, in fact, is an injection out there. So Basically, good news coming in there. The stock, as it is, was up close to around 7%. CCL Products, they have been talking about commissioning a new unit at Chittoor district of Andhra Pradesh. That's happened. 5,000, MTS per annum. That's the capacity. Syngene will be considering a bonus issue on the 24th of April, so we'll keep an eye out on that stock. KPR Mills, not very, very liquid, but they're going to be considering buyback of shares, so good news for shareholders out there. And finally, we've been tracking new kids on the block. Well, today we'll have KPIT Technologies, the engineering business, that will be listing today. Rima was telling us expect a listing price of around 100 to 110 rupees. But the most important stocks today will be HDFC Bank and Reliance Industries. If you pull up a contribution chart, you'll see more than 10% weightage on both those two. And they're going to be swinging the Nifty in today's session, at least for the first hour.